Continues from St. Thomas Sports Park. Practice has concluded. Fans have left the facility, and it's pretty much just us hanging out here. Will Boling, Lucas Panzica with you. Buck Rising over there by the podium as Jeffrey Simmons is speaking to media about the first full day in pads. No contract talk for Big Jeff. He made that clear from the jump. The first day we were out here, said he's just focused on football. So Will Boling hanging out with me, talking practice observations from the first day in pads. And Will, we heard from Ryan Tannehill talking about the luxury of having consistency and continuity based on who's around him in training camp. His wide receivers, a different tight end core, Des Fitzpatrick. But he did say it wasn't clean enough today. Ryan Tannehill did not throw any interceptions today. But when he says that, why do you think that is?
I think the defensive backs got the better of the offense today, especially in red zone 7-on-7s. I thought the defense did a really good job. I thought the player of the day was Roger McCreary, who had 3 pass breakups in addition to an interception within team period at the end of practice today. But I thought the offense was second best today. I thought Ryan Tannehill made some good throws. I think his best throw was a Treylon Burks touchdown in the corner of the end zone in red zone 7-on-7. Treylon Burks has been lined up in a lot of different spots. We saw him lined up, Titans wanting to get a mismatch of him against a linebacker today. We saw him with a touchdown catch over Zach Cunningham in red zone 7-on-7 today. But I do think it was a good day for the defense. I think overall probably a pretty balanced effort. But I think once you had full team periods, you had offensive and defensive line going up against one another. Defensive line was getting the better of the offensive line. Tier Tart completely blew up Hassan Haskins on one run. Titans weren't really able to get a whole lot done in the ground game outside of one Dontrell Hilliard run. So I say overall it's a pretty balanced effort today, but I think the defense probably gets a little bit of the upper hand.
Yeah, defensive line with some tip balls. I know DeMarcus Walker has continued to sort of force his name into the conversation when we talk about who the Titans will be forced to keep on the 53-man roster along the defensive line. Jeffrey Simmons talking about him just now, too. Did you see anything noticeable from the former Florida State Seminole, DeMarcus Walker, today?
I didn't notice anything really specific from him, and I'll be honest with you. They brought over red zone 7-on-7 towards us, and everything was in the middle field today of the 3 because Mike Vrabel knows there are fans next to field number 3 or field number 1, whichever one they're calling that now because it's switched back and forth so much. So as soon as they were done with red zone 7-on-7, they moved the complete other side of the field in the other end zone where there was no media over there and no fans that could see it. So most of what we were able to see and observe today, team period at the very end, and then in addition to that, the red zone 7-on-7 stuff. So I'll be honest, didn't get to see a whole lot of line work outside of the very end of what you guys saw right in front of us in the full team period.
Okay, so Roger McCreary, who you say had a good day,
Yes.
I think the tide has turned a little bit where defensive backs are starting to sort of come into their own right now at training camp, where it was the wide receivers grabbing a lot of those headlines the first few days. Who is Roger McCreary, or who was Roger McCreary matched up against the most from what you saw today during practice?
They've had him matched up a good bit, I would say, against Treylon Burks. He had one pass breakup against Racey McMath today, another pass breakup that was against Des Fitzpatrick, and then another pass breakup from Ryan Tannehill. His one pass breakup against Tannehill was intended for Nick Westbrook-Akina. I think the difficult part about this is that all of these are in the red zone. Most of these are in the end zone. As these are mostly 10-yard, 15-yard throws that Ryan Tannehill, Logan Woodside are making. I'll get to Malik Willis in a minute of what I saw from him in that 7-on-7 period. But I think McCreary is really showing really good ball skills in one-on-ones. We've seen a lot of videos of that over the past couple of days of him in one-on-one drills, breaking up passes intended for Treylon Burks and others within the Tennessee Titans receiving core. And those drills are advantageous towards the wide receiver. The advantage is to whoever is on offense because you only have a one-on-one and you don't have the inside leverage, outside leverage kind of conversation in those moments because you don't have the safety help. You don't have a linebacker over the middle either. So I've been really impressed with him in those one-on-ones and just his skills finding the ball. He's got a little bit of moxie, of dog in him, if you will. My favorite term right now that we use in training camp. He's just got a little bit of dog in him that we can already tell that in 7-on-7s, but looked really good today.
Was it a better day for Malik Willis in team drills?
I don't think it was. Threw an interception, and Todd Downing was irate with him because he didn't immediately run towards the defensive back who made the interception to try to make the tackle. He immediately hung his head, was frustrated at himself, and it was completely a throw that he pretty much decided as soon as he saw the pre-snap read, I am going here with the ball. It was a quick turn on an out route at about the goal line on the near pylon, and he hummed it. And I'll tell you what, in one-on-ones, the arm talent is completely there. Malik Willis was showcasing that in red zone one-on-ones today at the very beginning of practice, where he would loft a teardrop to the back pylon for a touchdown, and then 2 plays later had a fastball towards the near pylon and an out route to a wide receiver there. Both of those were touchdowns, and both of them you're like, this guy has got different speeds with which he's throwing. He's just a tick slow in those team drills still deciding where the ball is going to go, and still just holding on to it for about a beat too long right now. So certainly not a terrible day for Malik Willis, but the interception in the red zone might not have entirely been his fault, but it was a really quick read, and bad to just kind of be disengaged with the play immediately and not try to at least run towards the DB that made the